to KROSS BARZ, the podcast that we discuss interesting topics with alternative perspective. I am your co-host, Big O. I have with me.
Hey, Tanae is back in the building one more time with none other, Mr. Joshua Paul Thompson, the musician, the producer, the songwriter, the composer, the award-winning Joshua Paul Thompson. Give it up, give it up, give it up.
How much I owe you? What I gotta pay you for that? What I gotta
pay you? That's natural, baby. That's
natural. So, Mr. Thompson, tell us, where are you from versus where do you reside?
I was born in North, but I grew up in Orange, and now I live in West Orange.
You said West?
All right. Jersey in the house?
Oh, okay. You are Essex County, baby. Oh, yep. That's it. This is running around Essex County.
North Presbyterian Hospital.
North Presbyterian?
Yes,
all right.
sir.
So for everybody who is not familiar with North Presbyterian and Essex County, what I'm saying all over the world, that just means that man had 2 felonies by the time he was 11. Oh, no, I'm kidding. Just joking. All right. All right. So, you know, I'm a Union County baby, Plainfield all day, every day. All right. So,
Funkadelic.
Yeah, all day.
Funkadelic, P-Funk.
Absolutely. So growing up in North, you know, East Orange, because a lot of times, East Orange and North, we kind of most people, you know, when you're outside of New Jersey, you just say, I'm from North, because they may have not heard of as well known as North than East Orange. But, you know, people who know, like, oh, that's North by nature. But, you know, sometimes I hear them in interviews talking about they from North, and I was like,
Well, the greater North area, yeah. We try to get a little, because North used to be bad, but now it's the bricks, see?
So the bricks.
Yeah.
All of a sudden it's
the
cool
brick,
now.
the brick city.
Okay.
But, hey, much love to everybody in all these counties, you know what I'm saying? We need to stay
absolutely.
Okay.
Bars.
So, Mr. Thompson, tell us, how would the world know you? What is your claim to fame, sir?
I'm probably known for a song I did with Joe called All the Things Your Man Won't Do, which is sort of a household record, one of our first household records. And Joe didn't have a record deal at the time. He was in between deals. He had left Mercury and was seeking a new deal. And we were fortunate to have a hit on the radio that became the biggest song of that year for all radio play in the Billboard magazine, according to Billboard. Now, that's not us saying this. Anyway, he was fortunate to get a deal and go on and do his thing, you know.
So all the man,
wow.
Wait a minute, all things your man won't do. Now tell me, sir.
Love that.
Did you write it outright, or you were a co-writer or a producer?
Yeah, Joe and I wrote it together. Yeah.
Oh, that's what's up.
Yeah, we usually co-write our songs. Sometimes we write with another very talented writer named Jolly and Skinner from England. But on that one, we hadn't met Jolly yet, or I hadn't met him yet. And so we wrote that one on our own. And it came out as you heard it, you know.
So what was the concept behind it? Because was it that, you know, you was, you know, as I like to say, that's the national anthem for Dirty Mackin'. You know, so if you're going Dirty Mac, that's the one. For those who don't know what Dirty Mackin' is, that just means that you come into a woman that's already taken and saying, listen, this is what I could do for you. You know, he ain't doing these things. This man wrote he wrote the anthem for Dirty Mackin'. So absolutely.
Well, tell me what kind of man would treat his woman so cold? He treats you like you're nothing, but you're worth more than gold.
More than gold.
You know what I'm saying? So,
I got a question.
Hold up.
I got a question. I got a question, because those lyrics are they just stay ingrained in your brain and in your heart, those lyrics. Like, what were you guys thinking about when you came up with those lyrics? We were just trying to be the most
romantic situation possible with utmost respect to the woman, but keeping it colorful, keeping it playful, keeping a little bit of street, but definitely romantic. And so we were trying to combine a lot of elements that exist in Black culture to give you a 360 degrees experience of what Black romance is like, not just the fairy tale side of it, but some of the other harder elements that are in real life. And people responded to the song. They got it. They knew, you know, that song was on a lot of women's answering machines, an outgoing message was all the things you man would do. So I don't know who that was sending it to, but you know, my sister, she's like, she said that we struck a nerve with women, because even if we were really happy,
we're still imagining a guy on a white horse, you know, who could do all these things that the regular guy wouldn't do. So, and if they weren't happy, well, you know, they were down already. So
Yeah.
the song struck a nerve. And then check it out. But on the flip side, the men wanted to be the man who would do the things
Who was doing the thing
that the man wouldn't do.
Listen,
See?
I'm still waiting on the night cruise in the yacht. That's what.
Yeah, right. But you got a lot. That's right.
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
Let's break up this.
do.
Yeah, hold up. Let's break up this little love fest right here. What y'all going back and forth?
That's okay. I was like,
yeah, I gotta speak on some things.
Go ahead. What you got?
Because now he's speaking of, you know, the things your man won't do. Now that may not be within his budget. See, some things he said, take you on a romantic cruise. You might not have a cruise. You might be doing, you know what I mean, top ramen and hot dogs. You know what I mean?
That's right.
You know, candlelight dinner because your lights is off. So you being romantic.
Gotta get your game up.
Nah,
Gotta get your game up, bro. Get your game up.
Gotta be up, right?
That's right.
Nah, because you
It's
know
gold.
that
It's
ain't
called
right.
gold.
That's like you going to the highest bidder, not the most romantic, but it's cool. It's cool. I saw the whole Dirty Mac game. I liked it. You know,
Yeah.
I was already married at that time. So I kind of felt on the other team, like, you know, guys coming up and approaching my wife, you know, very beautiful woman. And, you know, I understand what it is. You know, Cash used to look at her, look at me and be like, huh? You know, give me that look.
See, but if you listen to what he said, girl, to me, you're like a diamond. I love the way you shine. $100 million treasure. I give the world to make you mine. Not saying he got the world.
He said he gonna give you the world.
No,
so if a man
he said, I'll give the world.
He said, I give. If I had it, I give the world to make you
Right,
mine. You know what I'm saying?
right. Come on.
Okay.
Listen.
So it doesn't tell you whether the guys got paper or not. It doesn't really speak to the paper game.
Dirty
It's all
Mackin'.
about the romance.
Dirty Mackin'. That's
You
what
know?
we calling it. Dirty Mac. That is
All
the
right.
theme. That man went right there and said, I'll give you the world, girl. And I was like, listen, I just want to, you know, make sure we got 3 square meals. But I understand that, brother. No
I was listening to
disrespect.
something though on Audible. Didn't you get that from? I heard you talking about, you were in an interview that I heard on Audible, and you were saying that you heard another song from somebody else, and you.
Emma
and it
Lewis
was
had a
great.
song called "The Things
Yeah.
I Miss" or "The Things You Miss at Home,"
Yeah.
and I like the idea of that. But I said, well, how can I write a song that's parallel to that, but not
Correct.
imitate? So I said, well, what about all the things your man won't do? And it just came to me. So then I made a list of 5 song titles I had that day when we went in to write. This was about the 5th song or maybe 6th song we wrote together when me and Joe first started writing. And I put it on the list and said, I knew which one he was going to pick. I said, Joe, point to the one you think is the best one. He pointed to all the time. I knew it. So we wrote, it was bound to be written that day.
Yeah.
It did. Love
And
it.
now, like, listen to what you just said. The person, was it Sherelle that had The Things I Miss at Home? Correct?
Yeah, Jam and Lewis wrote that.
Mhm.
They wrote that Jam and
Right,
Sherelle.
right,
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
Oh, whoa.
Yeah, they inspired me and for the title wise. Then music,
Title wise,
we had all kinds of inspiration from Janet to Stevie to what's them boys?
Which one?
Tony.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
We had all Ozzy Brothers. There's all kinds of Black music inspiration, but not any one element is dominant. We mixed all the things that we knew from urban music and soul to put it into one cool record that we needed. See, Joe was at a crossroads in his life. So I was at a crossroads as a writer, and we were the 2 forces that met that were urgent to make it. Both had an urgency to make it. So I call it the collision of 2 talented forces that needed to express themselves, and it was a great timing. And I never worked with a voice like him before. I mean, I had worked with Aretha, but as far as a young person who was coming up on the come up, Joe was the first I worked with locally who could deliver that kind of vocal.
Yeah, he was smooth. Yeah,
Okay.
smooth. He's still smooth. Not was.
Oh yeah.
Smooth. Right.
But listening to what you were saying, you just said something, and I was like, "Oh, you just shot a gun," and I don't know if somebody dead over there, but I'm gonna just say, hold on for a second. You think Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis is the greatest writers of our generation?
Oh well, they were some of the greatest writers. It's hard to say.
Absolutely.
Number one. I never say number one.
Yeah. No, you said the, and that's why I was like, whoa. I was like, whoa.
They're 2 of the greatest writers of our generation.
Facts.
Good deal.
Stevie Wonder,
Prince. You had so many different talented writers.
Yeah, I was sitting there. I was like, wait a minute. You had Rick James, Lionel Richie. You also had BabyFace. I said, whoa. But I would put him right.
Well,
those
Lionel Richie and Rick James were a little before Jam and Lewis. Jam and Lewis came out post Prince. They came out from the Minneapolis experience, and then they created the company called Flight Time. Correct. When they left Prince, they used that because they were actually at the airport when they decided to leave the band and form their own thing, and it was a great move for them. They needed to experience their own.
Then they get fired.
No, they didn't get fired. They just left, and so. I mean, if you quit, can you get fired? I mean, it's kind of
true. I got you.
No,
I thought Prince gave ultimate because during that time, his whole camp were just a bunch of creative, and I think he some stories, but I don't want to tell that story. That's their story. However,
bad dudes. That's all of that camp was bad. Everybody, Jesse, all of them,
absolutely
was super talented.
Yeah. So when you said that, I was like, yeah, Sherelle Alexander O'Neill, and he came from the Prince camp as well. All right. So now let's talk about you actually becoming this writer, and also during that time they really pit Joe against two other crooners, but it was in the same age gap. But it kind of, to me, it looked like, as a consumer, it looked like we got the white one, we got the black that could be Latino one, and then we got the dark skinned chocolate one, and that was John B, Chico DeBarge, and Joe. And it seems like they had those three, like, okay, who you gonna pick, who's gonna win? And it was like they always put them in the same category because that was during the time where you had so many of the R&B bands that were singing, and it was kind of raunchy because we went from Boys to Men down to Jodeci into the Run 12 and getting more raunchy. And then Joe, John B, as well as Chico DeBarge, was like, nah, let's bring back the romance and being gentlemen and things of that nature. And it was kind of cool. But how did it feel like, being in that lane, and it seemed a little crowded, and then it got a little, as I like to say, not even racy, but more or less colorist?
Well, they were all talented. I got to work with all three of those guys, John B and Chico, and they're all very talented. Chico can play the mess out of an organ, keyboards, Rhodes, really understands harmony, music. He goes all the way back to the roots because he grew up with that family. Right. And during the Motown time, so Chico's a bad dude and has his own style vocally. And John B as well. John B's a piano player too. So I got to work with him as well. And they're all uniquely talented in their own right, all three of those guys.
Okay. So to me, I'll ask this question. Do you believe that you need to be able to play an instrument to be a upper echelon songwriter?
If you want to be a composer, D'Angelo, look at D'Angelo, Prince, even our girl, what's her name? Her.
Yeah, correct.
Oh,
she plays guitar. She plays little key. You got to really understand the harmony. Alicia, who I also work with, you got to have harmonic knowledge. Alicia, Aretha Franklin was a master keyboard player, not just a keyboard player. She was a master keyboard player. Played the B3 organ and the piano. She went to Juilliard too, by the way. But
Aretha Franklin?
Foundation for writing music and understanding what the band is doing. So the band can't tell her they played the right chord when she heard the wrong chord. Aretha would know right away. She can on too. So you got to really know your stuff. So the more in-depth your knowledge, the more you can expand upon it and work with different artists of different walks because you understand the language of music. So this is one of the things the youth today are not getting enough of. Some are. You do see some instrumentalists on Instagram that are doing some things that you say, wow, that young kid can play. You know what I mean? So we need to nurture that more and get the kids back into the instruments because it's a little too much of canned music. You know what I'm saying? So I'd like to see that. But there's always talent in the Black community and other related communities. So it's good to see anybody who can create and put a message out. The kids have a lot of software they can use now, which wasn't available to us at those times. That they can get a record out by tomorrow night. But because they could doesn't mean they should. Sometimes they should take their time and really get the quality high. But unfortunately, there's nobody here to set the bar. Artists like Prince not here, Michael Jackson's gone.
Let's because you went off, and let me ask this. The reason why I asked that is because some of the greatest musicians, and that they kept on going back and forth. So like, for instance, a person like say Beyonce that cannot play instruments, who's currently trying to learn an instrument, and as James Brown, as seen several documentaries where his band is telling him, no, don't do it. He's like, no, do it this way because it sounds better. But it was like the instrumentation of it sounded good, but he didn't really know how to play. He just knew how to compose, similar to some of these super producers, i.e. Puff Daddy, even Timberland. So they're not great pianists or flute trumpeters, but they can create something. But I was talking about just the songwriting ability of writing songs, because some people say,
well, the more you know the instrument, the more you can pick from history and understand what great writers were doing. You look back at James Taylor, the Beatles, Temptations, Smokey Robinson, Stevie. These are great songwriters. So you got to study your roots to know the tree. You can't know the flower and the branches without knowing the root. You know what I'm saying?
But it's vocabulary, it's imagery, it's all of those things. Like what? Because there's songs that many people can write songs. It's a good beat, but it might not have good lyrics. And so, to me, I'm looking for lyrics, not just a song, but the lyrics of the song that'll take you somewhere else, and then the music just kind of floats you in addition to that, somewhere else. So when you're a songwriter and you're with ASCAP and there's 900 plus thousands of writers in there, how do you stand out? Like, how do you stand out above all? Because everybody can
quality always makes you stand out, and having a different voice. You have to experiment with different types of sound structures and ways of recording and writing to find out what is different about you that you have to express that makes you different from that one. Otherwise, we all carbon copy clones. Right now, the danger of the music industry, or the problem with the music industry, is everybody sounds too much alike. Smokey didn't sound nothing like, the Four Tops, No. The Four Tops didn't sound really like the Temptations. Everybody had this sound. The Bars supposedly was an imitation of the Jackson 5, but when they came out, they had their own thing.
They had their own thing.
You see what I'm saying? People try to compare it to the Jackson 5 because it was a musical family.
I think during that time, yeah, but I think during that time, that's when they start having these super groups and people try to emulate them, because in that same era, you had the Silvers, and the Silvers got very popular because most people thought they were the Jackson 5. So, and then DeBarge, they had clones from them. And that group that came right after them was
but the cool thing in those days, people expressed their differences.
Yeah, they do. And I'm not saying that, but it seems like when you get to a certain level, then that's when you have the clones. When everybody's at the same playing field, the originality is what stands out. So now we get to a point of, okay, now I'm standing out. How do I separate people who are trying to be clones? That's what I ask now. And you saying quality is like, okay, you got the same writers. And sometimes you can hear the writers. You be like, okay, that's, they have a, what they call it, they have a sound.
Well, if you listen to John Legend, you can hear the influence of Stevie Wonder on his music.
Absolutely.
There's no doubt about it.
Absolutely.
As well as Alicia Keys.
Alicia too, also. Right. But that means they're doing their homework. If you listen to Bruno Mars, he's so studied into the R&B song, but he knows it inside out. You can bet he knows the moments, the stylistics, and all those groups from that era, from the Philly era. He knows all that. Because he's deep into the trenches, deep into the crates. And that means he's studying his history, which gives him the foundation upon which to stand and make new music, but the roots are still in the ground.
Bars, absolutely. And I agree 100% with that. But what I was liking to look at, you can hear the influence, because everyone has an influence. But when you don't differentiate from your influence, you can look at it and say, wow, so I know Michael Jackson was influenced greatly by James Brown. But if you listen to Michael Jackson and James Brown, you can say they're totally different.
Hey, but listen, when I was young, I used to walk to the corner to get the new James Brown 45.
All day.
Every week I would walk to the corner to get the new James Brown record.
All right, brother. You're telling your age now. You're telling your age now.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
Okay. All right, ladies and gentlemen, when he just mentioned, I got to translate for the young people. He just said 45. It's not a gun. He did not go to the corner store and get a gun. He's talking about the smaller albums.
The vinyl,
a little hole in the middle.
It's a single.
Yeah.
3 minutes, 30 seconds, 3 minutes, 10 seconds, stuff like that.
And
I'm talking about Hot Pants, I'm talking about It's a Man's World. I'm talking about I Can't Stand
To get
Myself.
a 45.
I gotta ask you now. I gotta ask you because I too was a budding writer / rap artist at one point, and it was because of those 45s. Because when people bought 45s, on the flip side, there were the instrumentals. And then did you start by writing your own over the instrumental, trying to outdo the front part?
Good question.
No, I played guitar since I was 12. I played piano since I was 8. So I already had music in my head, you know what I mean? And chords. And so when you have an open chord, you could just start singing pretty much anything over. If you got a basic chord progression, 1 or 2 chords, and you can start singing. So we would just try to sing our own little songs, and most of them weren't very good. But over time, they got better and better, and we learned more, you know what I mean? Sly was my turning point, Sly Stone. He had an album called Stand.
Yes.
Stand, in the end, you'll still be you. One that's done all the things you set out to do. Stand. There's a midget standing tall and a giant beside him about to fall. I mean, this cat was deep. He was into the street poetry at that time.
Got you.
But it was a consciousness movement. Before Earth, Wind & Fire and all that stuff, Richie Havens, Sly, Jimi Hendrix, these people were talking about world consciousness, unification, end of racism, and a more unified world. So, and early Stevie Wonder as well. You know,
I saw it during that time period, because you mentioned Sly, you know, during the 60s and 70s, because of the global perspective, you know, Pan-Africanism, you know what I mean? People more or less getting back to their roots, and it was indicative in Sly's sound, and it was a little bit creative because, you know, people who don't know, people would assume that Sly was influence or trying to go towards, you know, George Clinton in Parliament and the Funkadelics, which, if you know, is totally different. You know what I mean? The sound is totally different. It's related, but it's different. Yeah, absolutely.
Sly had a more like almost like it was gospel with funk and pop all put together.
I know. And for rap, you know what I would say the comparison would be? Somebody who would call DMX a gangster rapper, you'd be like, it's more spiritual if you listen to what he's saying.
Well, if you listen to Prince's band was an imitation of Sly Stone.
Absolutely.
Multicultural, multicolored, male, female. Prince took a lot of elements and concepts from Sly and used it his own way.
So Prince developed from Sly, also Parliament, as well as the Ohio Players. So
and not to mention Little Richard and Jimi Hendrix.
Well, we're going way back now. All right.
Influence.
Influence. All right. I thought we was in the era. You said, nah, let me take it back a little further.
He knows his music.
Prince studied these people, man.
Yeah, absolutely. Because he's a student. He's a real student.
Yeah, there's this song, Little Red Corvette, but I heard an old blues song, and he's comparing a girl to the car. Why, baby, you're much too fast. I need to find a love that's gonna last, right? But there was an old song by an older blues guy. He said, and the lyric went something like this. Forgive me if I quote it not precisely, but it's something like this. He said, I'm built for comfort. I'm not built for speed. Baby, I'm built for comfort, not for speed. But I got everything that the little girls need. Now, to me, when Prince heard that record, he started thinking about how can I do that in a new way, or records like that. And that's when he came with Little Red Corvette. You know, I think it was influenced because he did his homework. He wasn't in a vacuum.
Yeah, he wasn't lazy. Absolutely. And there was one of my favorite songs I actually used in education when I actually introduced simile when I, taught language arts some years ago. Right. Brandy, what was the song Brandy about? I remember when I first learned, I was in college. It was like Brandy was a song about a dog. Right. I was like, I really miss you, Brandy. And then listen, yeah. And then I'm like, oh my God, he's talking about his dog. I had no idea. I was thinking it was his girlfriend and everything. Like,
I still thought it was his girlfriend.
If you're gonna go that far back, now you got to talk about Patches. Patches was a song. You remember that? I'm depending on you so to pull the family through. It's another old one. Written by two super songwriters, Barry Mann and Cynthia Wilde. They wrote you lost that loving feeling.
Yeah, I heard
Mhm.
it.
There's once too for James Ingram and Quincy Jones.
Oh, he's a great
Diane
writer.
and Cynthia
Yeah.
Wild. Yeah, two
Wow.
super writers. Yeah.
Yeah, James
Mhm.
Ingram was the one that took it there. But now we got to talk more about you, sir, because
Yes,
right
sir.
now you gave me a little information, and you know I think different. Now you from Essex County, Newark area, East Orange, Ill-Town all day. But now you're
Yes,
light
sir.
skinned, you play
Right.
instruments, and you up there. And now I'm talking about you listen to these lyrics. Now you know them by heart. Are you using these lyrics to these young ladies up in that Essex County? Was you a ladies man?
I like to speak through the records, you know what I'm saying? I like to get my lyrics out for the world. You know what I mean?
There you go. There you go.
Yeah.
There you
I
go.
like
Touch
the
your face,
records. Yeah, let the records talk. You know what I mean?
That's
That's
right.
the best way to do it.
That man just said, nah, I let the records talk. That he gave me a
I
play
love that.
line.
Only
He gave me a play line. He went in like, nah, I let the records talk. They speak for itself.
but
They speak through me. Oh, bullshit. All right, go ahead.
so when you get in, you're writing. How did you initially get in? Like, what was your first? Because I don't know that part of like what was your first introduction?
I started
Like, how
working with
did
a
you
group
get
called
into
Surface
songwriting?
with a brother named David Pitt Conley from East Orange.
Hey, yeah, we
Yeah.
interviewed him. We interviewed
Yeah,
Pete.
that's my man, yeah.
He's great. Yeah.
He called himself Prince David now. That's his name.
Yeah.
Oh,
And
damn.
he's still performing live with Surface. They're doing some shows all around the country. Pretty big venues too. I think they just did one with Tony out in Chicago area.
Yeah, and Raphael
20,000
Sadiq is
people.
actually touring with them now. Like
Yeah.
the real one. Yeah.
So
And then
he was working with Gwen Guthrie, and Gwen needed a song. So I had written this song with a couple of friends of mine called I Can't Feel It No More, co-written with Brian Smith and Gene Lennon. And we played it for you remember when Tina Turner had that song out, What's Love Got to Do with It?
Yes.
Sure.
And this had that little reggae pop feeling in this song. And Gwen heard it right away. She liked Gwen Guthrie.
Yeah.
God bless her.
North
soul,
special.
she passed.
North special. North all day. Essex
Yeah.
County. Legend.
She wrote God Don't Like Ugly. Remember that?
Yep.
God Don't, for Roberta Flack. She wrote that. And she also wrote Nothing Going On with the Rent.
No, she whoa.
Yes, of course.
She wrote it?
Yes.
Well, her and Pick
Yes.
wrote it. Pick did the bass line. Unfortunately, he didn't get any credit as a writer.
Got
but
to
yeah.
have a J-O-B. That
Yeah,
one.
that's her.
Yeah, I remember that.
absolutely.
Oh, Gwen could bring it, man.
Yeah, during that
Then if
time.
you worked with David Big Conley, then did you also work with Derek Color? Because we met with.
That was my man. We had a group called Color Scheme.
Yes, Color Scheme. Remember,
Yeah,
we interviewed him too. Rest in peace. And
Yes.
you know he's another songwriter. So you got on through Pick. He kind of introduced. You knew him, and so you guys, you know,
He
kinda
introduced
brought
us
you
to a
in.
lot of people in the industry. Jerome Gasper, eventually Clive Davis. I co-produced a song for Aretha called "What You See Is What You Sweat," and Clive put it out. It was the title cut of her album "What You See Is What You Sweat." She got a Grammy nomination and everything. And Pick was gracious enough to let us co-produce, even though we had done the original track. So we actually were the producers, but he was gracious enough to give us co-production credit, which cats didn't always do in those days. So shout out to Pick for giving us our first breakthrough on a major artist. I mean, major artist. So that was big. But Pick always had the style and the class, and he was very inclusive.
Yeah, and just listening to what you were just saying, it was weird because you know I listen to everything, and it was a song that came on the radio. Now it was James Ingram. I know his voice; he has a distinct voice, but when I looked at the credit down the bottom, it said Quincy Jones, and so when you just said that, it resonated with me because I had no idea. Like, why is it Quincy Jones? That's James Ingram song. So now you're talking about.
But James wasn't the writer of Just Once. That was Barry Mann and Cynthia Wild. Quincy was the producer. He was the artist.
But when you know how you look at music choice, and you know on television you might put it on, and then it tells you who was the.
Well, it was Quincy's album, and those were guest singers. So Quincy Jones featuring James Ingram and sometimes Patty Austin.
Now,
it
didn't have none of that. It said Quincy Jones, and I was like, this is different.
Well, he's the overall artist. Yeah, it is his album. Yes.
Yeah, and I didn't know that. So now I was like, okay, are they giving credit? And now, what does that look like in the age of the internet and royalties? Because you know, before it used to be albums.
Oh no, James still gets his artist royalties. He has a contract, so whatever airplays he gets, his family will get. Unfortunately, James passed away. God bless him. He was an amazing artist. Absolutely. And his family will get the royalties because he has an artist contract that gives him a portion of the sales from each song.
Got you. And how does that work with as far as streaming? Because sometimes you may not buy the actual album, but you will listen to it online.
Well, streaming for me is unfortunately not perfected yet. They really have not shared with the artists, the writers, and the artists the portion of the profits that are really due to them for creating this vehicle, which the profiteers who create Spotify and other things like that.
Right.
Tidal's trying to give a slightly better rate and some of the other ones. Believe it or not, Napster, who was originally ripping everybody off, ended up giving the best rate of all of them now.
Really?
Wow.
Napster has the best rates for writers. Believe it or not.
Wow, never knew.
But none of them are paying what we're worth.
Oh, yeah, I wondered that. That was good. You said that, because I might pay for Prime, Amazon Music, and the album comes out, and I can go and download the album, but the artist doesn't necessarily get the money for that.
1/1000th of a penny per stream.
1/1000th of a penny
per stream. So how many do we got to stream to make $100?
You got 10 million.
So you have to
you need 10 million.
So it's best to go to the artist page or directly to somewhere where they get.
Listen, I'll sell a record out the trunk of my car before I stream it. I sell it on the street in East Orange right here. I'll sell a record on the corner before I do that, because to me, I'd rather control my income than have somebody else control it. Now, Spotify and those things, they're more like advertising. You're giving away free music, what you're doing.
So now my question becomes, because I'm very interested, would it be beneficial if you wrote music for the video aspect? Because before, the video was to enhance the music. Now you can actually charge for the actual video if you make it a mini movie. Like some artists did.
The main thing that artists has to be on today is to follow every stream of income, because there are many streams of income now. So there are more streams available now. YouTube, whether you have an Instagram page, depending on what it is you do, right? Some people with followings on YouTube. There's a girl that just talked about relationships, and she has 2 million followers, and supposedly they gave her a $60 million deal. All she talks about is makeup and breakup of relationships. But people follow that channel. So there's an interest there. So that means advertisers will go to it. So the artists have to be creative, put their best foot forward, and really follow the money streams of where all this stuff is taking them, what's making what, and focus on what can make them the most.
Okay. But would it be difficult? Because I've heard, I don't know, because you're an artist, I am not. I heard that if you are constantly looking for money and trying to write for money or the big hit, you lose some sense of artistry. Is that true?
I mean, I can't tell you how to feel out of touch with people of your generation or of any other generation. You have to know what you feel, because we watch, our eyes and ears are like inputs. So if I hear a Bruno Mars record or a Taylor Swift record, I'm still going to absorb some of what's going on today. I'm not going to lose my connection to what's happening. So if I'm writing a record, I want it to be relevant. I don't want it to be irrelevant, right? So, but I still have to use my taste and modify it to what I like. I said, hopefully there's enough people out there who like what I like.
Yeah.
If I do, that reflect my taste. They say you don't have to please everybody. What is 400 million people in America? So if you could please 1/400th of that, you got 1 million sales.
He said 1/400.
Yeah, because what happens is, for me, they say that some music is just timeless.
Right.
So, when you have timeless music, you don't have to worry about sales because it's always going to sell. So like, Thriller is the all-time, leader in sales around the world, and people are still buying it.
It should be. Yeah, it should be. They did.
They did. Oh, I got some questions for you, brother. Oh, I made some up. Oh, absolutely. So for instance, we can get to
let's do the rapid fire. Why are you waiting? Let's bring it.
Yeah, that's what I want. Oh, I want it. Real quick, brother. Give me your top 5 love songs of all time.
Okay.
Ooh.
See, look, you had to sit back.
Lady of My Life.
Oh, yeah. Michael Jackson. Yeah.
Is this in order, man? Let me ask you.
No in order. Ba-da-ba-da-ba-ba-da-ba-ba. What's that? Yeah. Overjoyed.
Overjoyed.
Yeah,
Oh yeah. That's my
let's
joint.
see. Keep going. You know what? There's an old one, Baby I'm For Real by the Originals. This is before your time.
I know that, baby.
Nah, we know that one.
It got remade twice. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Baby, that's an amazing record. Going in Circles is another one, man.
Oh yeah. Oh
That's
yeah.
four.
I know all of them.
Brother.
Okay, After the Love Is Gone, Earth, Wind and Fire.
Yo, that's nice.
Hands down.
That is nice.
Yeah.
I'm like, yo, brother, you in trouble. You in trouble.
No,
I gave him 5. And that man didn't say, like, listen. I said greatest love
Joe?
of all. Wait a minute. Joe can be an honorable mention.
Oh, he's automatically gonna
No. What I'm talking about is Always and Forever Heat Wave. He ain't had that then. What did you do?
It's not one of my favorites. I love it.
That's your song. That's your song.
Saying just me.
Hey,
I know that's right.
Story, though. Okay. Pause for 1 second. I'm gonna tell you a story. I was at a Hollywood Bowl. They were trying to refurbish the Hollywood Bowl in LA, and Quincy Jones was going to do a guest performance as the conductor. So my boy, who was named Bob Watt, he was the only black guy in the LA Philharmonic Orchestra. So Quincy Jones was going to guest conduct the orchestra as a fundraiser to give money to the Hollywood Bowl to refurbish and rebuild the structure to make it look beautiful. But the event was honoring the great film composer Henry Mancini, the Pink Panther and all that stuff.
Yes.
So I got to go, and my friend got me in. We go to rehearsal. We hanging out with Quincy, and I got to talk to him. We talked about my teacher, Frank Foster, who was the last director, arranger for Count Basie.
Wow.
So Quincy, Count Basie big band on the Frank Sinatra recordings and other recordings, right? So he knew Frank right away. As soon as I mentioned that he was my professor, me and Quincy struck into a nice conversation. So then Rod Templeton came later that night, and I told him I wrote All the Things Your Man Won't Do. He said, "You wrote All the Things Your Man Won't Do?" This is Rod Templeton.
Yo.
Thriller. Baby Be Mine.
Heat Wave. Yeah.
And this is what he said. He said, "Man, I don't drive. I took a taxi cab to the store to buy the CD, and I went over Quincy's house and I played for Quincy Jones." I said, "Wow." And then he talked about the, the ba-da-da-ba-ba-da-da-da-da. He talked about the ramp. He called that the ramp because that's a British term. It's an old school term. Okay. He said, "Man, kill a ramp, man." He was talking about how it rises to the chorus.
Correct.
Yeah. And so I almost died in my shoes. This is like Stevie Wonder. This is Rod Templeton, the greatest songwriter of our era, other than Stevie.
Right.
Number 2.
Yes.
Yeah. It was just, I was floored. So that was my Rod Templeton story.
Okay. Wow. And Rod Templeton, legend beyond legend.
Absolutely.
Right?
Shout out hit. For real.
However, I like that, but Jason, because you about to say something. You give me your top 5. Yeah, give me your top 5. You don't be who. There ain't no
owls. This KROSS BARZ ain't about.
I ain't asked that because I want to see what you got. Because he just gave you 5. Huh?
I agree with all the ones he said.
Listen, I can revise that later because I was under pressure a little bit, with the time.
Stand on that one.
No, but even when you're talking about songwriters and all of that, is there ever like a beef with songwriters, like who's going to get the song or who's going to write the artist? So have you ever had a song that you thought they were going to use and they didn't, or something like that? Is there ever like a beef? We wrote
a song for Joe. Called Reason for Breathing, but he didn't cut it. BabyFace ended up cutting it. Now I had went to BabyFace years ago, took a Greyhound out to LA to meet him when they were young producers. Him and LA Reid. They weren't famous yet. Yeah. They were working on Karen White's record Superwoman. Okay. So we went out to Silver Lake Studios, took the bus out there. Well, first of all, I took the Greyhound to LA. Took 4 days. Then I got to LA. My boy said, "Well, we want to go to Silver Lake. That's going to take us about 2 or 3 hours. We got to get on another bus." So we went to Silver Lake, and there was BabyFace eating some McDonald's, just chilling. He had his little suit on and everything. And and I said, "Listen, I'll be interested in writing with you all." He said, "We're not taking any outside writers because a lot of people claim extra credit of that they wrote more than we did, and then we get in disputes." I said, "Well, listen, I'm not like that," but I didn't want to push it with him. So I said, "Listen, okay, cool." 12 years later, he called me to produce his record with him of a song we wrote called Reason for Breathing. I co-wrote it with Quincy Patrick, Joe, Warren, and a few other brothers who wrote on it with us. And BabyFace called me personally, not knowing I'm the same cat that came to the studio. You know what I'm saying? So when we went out there, we're taking pictures for this current record, Reason for Breathing, and L.A. Reid is there and everything. And my boy who's taking the shot, Jamaican brother Nigel, he said, we haven't done this since Silver Lake. BabyFace goes, Silver Lake? Because I didn't tell him that we the same people. See what I'm saying? So BabyFace started scratching his head, Silver Lake. He's wondering, but we just smiled and left it at that. We never told him.
He gonna know now.
Hey, baby,
we gonna tag him. We gonna tag him.
No hard feelings. Love you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely.
So tell me, you have decades of knowledge and working in this industry. What is your favorite era? The 70s, 80s, 90s, the 2000s. Which era you like the best?
I like them all, man, because great music happens all the time.
All right. You gonna tell me?
The Black community never stops putting out genius work. It's always in different forms. If you look at my man, who's the cat that won the Pulitzer Prize from Compton, the rapper?
Kendrick Lamar.
Oh, Kendrick Lamar.
He's different from Sly Stone, but they're telling the same story. It's an African in America telling an updated story of what's going on. So
like the last poets.
It never stops. The story never ends. So
I like that answer. I like that answer.
I like the era with the bands when you had Earth, Wind and Fire, Sly, and all that. But I like to see these kids that are coming up now on Instagram who are playing some incredible stuff instrumentally, embrace, the Curtis Mayfields and what's my man's name, Al Green, and absorb those eras and bring it in a new form to today. Don't turn your back on your history, because we stand on the shoulders of those. We just lost Harry Belafonte, one of the great men of any.
I was going to ask the question. Yeah,
one of the great human beings. I'm named Joshua Paul after Paul Robeson. That was my godfather. And
really?
Paul Robeson,
Somerville, New Jersey. Stand up, Somerville.
Stand up. Yes, sir. Rutgers in the house. So, these kind of human beings are very rare, and we're blessed to have them because they changed the way humanity sees, number one, Black people, but also each other. You know what I'm saying? We all should be seen in some kind of equal standing. But it takes a few who have the bravery to speak out. Ruby D, Ozzie Davis was a couple that always fought for these type of things. So whenever I'm on a show like this, I always try to drop some knowledge or something like that. Jamie Foxx, who's a good friend of ours, unfortunately, he's going through some kind of health challenge right now. Hopefully he'll be better soon. Shout out to Jamie. Heal up, Jamie. We love you.
Good. Come on, Jamie.
Yes. He told me that Harry Belafonte and Sidney Poitier, I called him and told him, that even though he was very successful and doing great things, that he needed to do more to give back to the community more. And he said it was an epiphany, like a light went off in his head that he had never seen before. And he said it changed him internally from that moment on. So again, I like to shout out to people who are trying to spread that thought knowledge so we could all be the best of ourselves.
Absolutely.
So what have you added to, what do you think that you brought to the culture or to the industry, that we can say, hey, Joshua Paul Thompson did this. What do you think that you brought or added to, the art? You
mean that's different or unique? I mean, I think I was one of the first to play the Spanish guitar on a love song. If prior to All the Things You Man Will Do, you never heard the nylon string Spanish guitar. That's a particular guitar. You had heard steel strings and regular electric guitars, but no one was playing the Spanish. So I was fortunate to be in the right position to do that on that record. I did the solo on All the Things as well. So that was something unique. And just working with Joe was an incredible experience, which we're still doing. We're working on a new album now. So I don't try to look at it as a past thing. I look at it as still a work in progress. And we're still trying. We co-wrote a song with Stevie Wonder about a year ago. It's called When a Player Falls in Love. And it's really an amazing piece of music. I'm hoping that Joe will eventually put it out. There was some talk about him doing a duet with Stevie. But we have to wait because Stevie's always hard to pin down. He's always moving here, moving there.
Yeah.
So, I think I'm still bringing it. I don't know if it's the story's been told yet, but I'm still trying to add on to my own legacy. And I want to tell the story of Avery Thompson, my son who passed away from leukemia.
That's what I was going to ask about that, yes.
Yeah, I wanted to do a movie about his life. Unfortunately, the filmmaker, Paul Justman, who was working with us on the movie, passed away. And we're now looking to I mean, we can't replace Paul because he was so unique and had a real love for my son's story. And Paul never met Avery, but it was almost as if he knew him. So I want to reach out to the community and see if there are other people who may want to help me work on this amazing story, because Avery was an amazing young man, a spirit who was way ahead of his time. At 18 months, he was doing world-class impressions. And he could remember all the pitches of music in key, in the original key that it was sung in. I don't know how he did. He had a good ear. But more than that, he was a very loving person. You know, love was his main thing. He was a much nicer person than I think I'll ever be. I try to be nice and be, you know, a very just person, but this kid, he just had an angel heart, you know what I mean? So I don't think that's something you can give somebody. They either have it or they don't.
Right. Would you say that's what you know, I know children learn from parents, but what would you say that he taught you as a son?
He taught me love. He taught me to be more compassionate. Don't be such a hard ass, and try to learn to understand people more. And that our relationships with humans is a one-time spiritual thing. We can't treat it lightly. We have to take every relationship, every friendship as very important. And we have to value those moments with each other, because we're all spirits passing through time. This is a temporary spiritual experience in a human body, right? We're spirits. But once we pass into the spiritual realm, we won't have this experience anymore. We don't know the next world yet. It's been talked about. But so while we're here, we have to experience it as fully as possible. And I want to leave his legacy as strong as possible. Also, congratulations to my daughter, Jaden. She's about to graduate Harvard next week. So
okay. What did she get a degree in?
Congratulations.
She has a double major, African-American studies and history and literature. She did both, and I don't know how she did it, but she's amazing. She just got the John Clive Literary Award for the best thesis in Harvard about the British Empire and the domination of Jamaica. And her great-granduncle died as part of the slave rebellion in Jamaica, who was hanged, William Gordon, and she wrote her thesis based on his life. So amazing young lady, and to overcome what she went through with losing her brother, I don't know, I would have probably been in the same time if I was her age, you know. But she is real strong.
That's what's up. So we do know that you have that what do they call it, the brilliance gene, you know, where you have the streak of brilliance. So you are a world-renowned writer. Your daughter is now a literary.
Hey, let me tell you
writer.
something. Einstein said there are no geniuses. There are only works of genius. Works of genius. So in other words, you could be a genius, but you can't exemplify it until you do some work.
Correct.
Sit down and show me a book, a movie, a play, a song, a poem. Those are works of genius. And then that's how we manifest our genius. We all have innate genius, but if we don't apply it to a piece of work, it's theoretical.
Some people call it talent, saying like you have a special talent that
but we got to manifest it. We got to manifest it. Hey, the other thing that Einstein said was 99%, 1% inspiration, 99% perspiration. Correct, so we got to put in the work. And so I think that's what I'm learning from my kids, that you know, we got to work harder. You know.
Okay. All right.
I'm down for it. I'm down for it. All right.
So now I have the questions that you really wanted, because you say you want these questions, but now you know I have to listen to what you're saying, because I have a few that's, you know, evergreen questions where I can ask anyone, but I actually try to get a feel for what you say, who are the people who are inspiring to you, who are influences, and I said, oh, let's see, you know, how would it make you feel? So if I said let's say Joe versus Aretha Franklin, who are you saying?
Versus Aretha Franklin?
No. What I said, excuse me. I got to break down the premise.
Yeah.
Okay, the premise of this is I'm going to give you two names, okay? Now, you can say both, you can say neither, you could choose either or, okay? So now, I'm going to give you something that's easy, all right? The Jets or the Giants, what would you say?
This year, the Jets. They just got Aaron.
He said this year.
All right. Okay, so you said, so you got the preference. You choose one or other. You can say both or neither. All right. So I know that you work with several people. So
but
that's
I'm a Knicks fan anyway. So shout out to my Knicks. Y'all overachieved this year. Pretty good.
Okay. I got some basketball in there because you know you're from North Essex County. So
hey, that's Charles Oakley.
Yeah, no. We got some ones. All right. So now how about this, right? Let's start with some easy ones. All right. Real easy one.
Don't ask me about Jimmy Butler, man. I don't want to talk about
no. Look, give me real easy ones. All right. Michael Jackson or Prince?
Oh man, both.
There you go.
Both.
All right. As songwriters, BabyFace or Stevie Wonder?
They're both great. I have to go with Stevie.
Okay.
His music is from a deeper place. As much as I love BabyFace, and I'm a super fan of BabyFace, Stevie is from a cosmic place. I don't even know how he gets the inspiration of what he does. I don't know where it comes from. He's connected something way deeper on a spiritual level. And I love you, Face. This is nothing against his music. Face's music will live forever. Yeah. But Stevie Wonder is something, I think he was a genius that was given to the world, and you're only going to see one.
Got you. LeBron or Jordan?
Patrick Ewing.
Okay. Patrick Ewing or Shaquille O'Neal? How about that one?
Patrick Ewing.
Over Essex County finest?
That's his choice.
You're right. He said his choice.
I love Shaquille. He's a bad dude. And he's one of the most dominant big men we ever saw.
He's from North.
I love him.
You went against North. You're never supposed to go against North if you from up there.
If you're Knicks, I'm a Knicks fan to the bone. Sorry.
Okay, I got you. Let me see. Queen Latifah or Naughty by Nature?
Both. They came up together.
I got you. All right, see where you're gonna go. One is from Irvington, the other one from East Orange. I got you. I'm seeing, Okay. All right. Give me a little easy one, real easy one. Okay. Tom Brady or Patrick Mahomes?
It's hard to go against Brady. You know, I'm not a Brady fan because I hated New England as a team.
He had to have the side to it.
Brady's pretty undeniable as the GOAT. So far, he's still the GOAT. I'd love to see Patrick Mahomes become the GOAT. But as far as if it had to be right now, I'd have to go with Brady historically. But I think Patrick Mahomes has time. He's young.
Okay, I got you. All right, let's look. They're a little harder.
I like the style.
Yeah,
I give him points for style. He got a lot of style.
Look. Watch this one. This is why I'm gonna throw a little curve in it. You see how the curve gonna come? All right. Gwen Guthrie or Alicia Myers?
Gwen Guthrie.
Okay. All right. Aretha Franklin or Patti LaBelle?
Aretha Franklin.
All right.
Sorry, Patty.
Look. Joe or Chico DeBarge?
Love you, Chico, but Joe's my man.
Got
you.
Got you. Look. Now a little easier. Give it one little give you a softball. The Mets or the Yankees?
Yankees.
All day. All right. And I don't want to keep, because we can do this all day. All right. This is gonna know if you really from New Jersey. All right. Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah.
Steak and take or whiting fish sandwich?
White Castle, man. What's wrong with you?
This man.
I went to Jersey last week and we was like, we gotta go to White Castle. The line was so long.
Listen.
We don't have a White Castle.
No, I can tell you the story. Big Lean, I'm telling the story. RLC, Rutgers Radio. I'm doing a radio show. Her husband, I used to try to grab him and force him to go. Sometimes he would go with me. Sometimes he'd be like, nah, too late. So Lean, every time we would come back, he'd be like, yeah, yo, you want some? I'd be like, hell no, you can't eat that in my car. Because you know what happened. He'd be like, yo, give me a, and then he tried to get all slick, right? He'd be like, yo, give me a number one. And then he asked for different sides, like, yeah, give me a number one. I'm like, fam, you could sniff that burger. I'm like, yo, they only got 2 little cheeseburgers, fries, and a drink. And then they said, yeah, give me an extra fish sandwich, 2 chicken sandwiches, and then 4. look, onion
some
rings.
mozzarella sticks, some onion rings.
So onion rings and a large shake. I'm like, yo, Lane, we just ordered 3 meals. He's like, nah, I just ordered a side. He thought that was the side. But he used to love White Castles. Right there on Steltonham Road. He used to kill him. I think Lane kept him in business. It's dolo. But no, anyway, White Castle and crystals, I think those is like God getting revenge on anybody who has sensibilities to smell. Because I'm like,
one time I was with Joe, right? So he wanted to get some fries. So we go up to churches in East Orange. Y'all been to churches?
No, you don't supposed to go there.
Yeah. Well, this was years ago.
Yes.
God, no. You was in the hood. Only thing worse than churches was Kennedy's.
Check it out. So Joe was in the Rolls, right? And the lady at the drive-thru says, "Ain't you Joe, the singer?" He goes, "Nah, I get that all the time. I know I look like him, but I'm not him." So now this brother's in a Rolls Royce. We know he's Joe. How you gonna say Joe? And the lady right there looking you right in your face. It was funny, it was hilarious.
Look, but wait a minute. Was it black?
It might have been Checkers. It might have been Checkers.
Now Checkers got some good fries.
See, I like Checkers.
See, I was
we must be hungry.
No, I was gonna judge you that. I'm like, you went to churches for French fries? I was like,
no, it's Checkers.
Yeah, Checkers. Okay, cool. And please stop taking a Joe. Don't go to Kennedy's or churches in the Rolls. Like we gonna stop that right now.
Italian cheeseburger.
What?
Hey, do you guys know a chef named Chef Jesse?
No, I'm not familiar.
Chef Justin
from Irvington, who's an incredible master chef. He studied with 5 master chefs, but he has his own blend of let's say soul food with like a kind of nouveau soul twist to it. It's really incredible. He makes everything from fried chicken to mac and cheese, all the traditional stuff, but he does it in a way that's incredible. But he could do all kinds of Oriental dishes, you name it. He could do anything.
Yeah.
Nah, I haven't heard of Justin.
Y'all should look him up. Chef Jesse, incredible chef. And his son, you ever hear of a term called filet? When they say filet, yeah. On the basketball channel?
No.
That's his son. That's Jesse Jr. He got 2 million followers on Instagram. Go on Instagram and look up filet with 4 Y's. Filet with 4 Y's.
Wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
Kevin, LeBron, they all follow him.
Yeah.
All the NBA follows him.
Yeah. I think I've seen that, because when you said the 4 Y's, I was like, I've seen that before. Yeah. I don't know where I've seen it from.
But they say it on ESPN now. Filet, That's when you put some move on it too. You know, he cooks them. You know,
he cooking them. So yeah. They got the hibachi, and now you talk about
but ESPN, it's into the whole vernacular. The sports channels now, they all do it.
So I'm on
Jesse
it.
Jones Jr. That's Jesse the son, Jones. Not the father.
Okay.
But Jesse can cook too. The son can cook as well.
All right, hold on, wait a minute. You've been around the world. You talk about food. Let's get it then. All right, where do you think is the best food in Jersey? Because North got a couple of restaurants, but I don't know if they beating down in South Jersey, because down over there by Camden, they got that Philly style.
I haven't had it down there, so I can't testify. So I don't want to go on the lane I don't know about.
Gotcha.
But I know Chef Jesse throws hard to the body. Okay. So I put him up against anybody.
The world is already recognizing we got the flies people. You know what I'm saying? It seems like, New York, they're real overbearing, but somebody will look at you like, you from New York, but you seem a little different. It's like, no, I'm from Jersey. Like, most people like our style wherever we go. We good people. Now, the other catch is, in Newark, what's your favorite restaurants? Because in Newark, I'm starting to see a lot of stuff pop up on the Instagram saying this is out of Newark. And I was like, wow, I didn't know they had a list of the top 5 soul restaurants in Newark. And I was like, man, I never knew them, because I thought I ate everywhere up there. Because back in the day, I used to go to East, what was it, in Elizabeth, when the Nile used to be there? You remember that? In Elizabeth?
No, my boy Shay Moore, he got a restaurant down on Springfield Avenue in Newark. They do like breakfast and stuff. It's a really nice joint there. I can't think of the name of it. It's escaping my mentality right this second, my memory. But yeah, he's right down there. Hakeem Bell goes down. You know Hakeem?
Yeah, I heard of him. I don't know him personally.
He's Cool's son from Cool and the Gang. Yeah. But Hakeem is a DJ. He DJs all around the state, New York, everywhere, New Jersey a lot. So he's in a lot of different places. Anyway, that's his boy Shay. So sometimes he's been trying to get me to go down there with him. And so I'm like, let's go, let's do this,
Okay.
But anyway, so I want to give a shout out to my man.
Okay. Are the brothers still there? Because I haven't been to Jersey in a minute.
No,
I'm coming
brothers
up this
closed.
summer.
You mean the real joint?
Okay. Yeah,
No,
no. I knew they closed, but I meant the brothers down in front of Lions Hospital that had the bus. They had all the you know what I'm saying, the fish sandwiches and cocoa bread and the beef patties.
I'm not sure. They might be there. They might be gone. Down on Halstead Street, they got a couple of nice restaurants though. You ever go down in Newark on Halstead?
Yeah, the masjid over there. Halsey.
Yeah.
You talking Halstead, but
Yeah.
I'm talking about Halsey and Brantford. You know what I'm saying? Over there, they had some good. My man, his father.
I meant Halsey. I said Halstead. Halstead's in East Orange.
Yeah. Halsey. My man's father had the R&O fish spot right there on the corner back in the day. I think they since turned it into a what you call it, a hat shop. I think they.
But listen, man, I don't mean to break it up with the food thing, but we got to get back on this music. So I hope you guys look out for Joe's new album. Joe
Absolutely.
got a new album, man. We were able to use the Budapest Art Orchestra, a 40-piece string orchestra on some of the pieces. Is sweet. Wait till you hear this. I think.
What is the concept for this album? Like, what is he going as far as the concept?
Joe stays with love. Love is still his main concept, but there's a couple consciousness songs. There's some fun songs. He break it up a little bit. There's a couple dance joints on there that have a little tempo to them, but it's always love. Love is still the romantic center of his universe.
Okay, so how is he going to connect with the new age talent?
I think he's trying to bring them to what he do. I don't think he's trying to change his style to update. I think he's just doing a more intense version of what we did before. Kind of in the way Bruno did with my man. What's the drummer that Bruno was working with? They got the song "Leave the Door Open."
Yeah, I'm not familiar with the drummer.
Huh? Bruno Mars and the other kid.
Yeah. I forget it. I see his face. They're on the cover, but you said the drummer. I'm not too familiar with him.
He's a drummer and he's singing. He's singing with Bruno.
Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. He wears the hat. He's right there.
Leave the door open and all that. Anyway.
Oh.
Yeah, you see him on the cover and everything. He's right there next to Bruno Mars. I just don't know his name.
My brain.
Yeah, bad dude.
Well, Anderson .Paak. Anderson
yeah,
.Paak.
Exactly. Silk Sonic. There you go. Silk Sonic.
Yeah, Silk Sonic. Right.
So they have a wonderful album out, which really deals with a lot of the older sounds, dealing with the stylistics and the moments and that Phillies type of sound, like Tom Bell, the great arranger who passed, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But so Joe is sort of in that lane in terms of the classic elements of R&B, but just more of it, like dialing it in stronger. You know what I mean? So you have to hear it and tell us what you think. You know what I mean?
I'm gonna definitely
absolutely.
Is
there any other artists? Are there any other artists you want to work with right now, like new and up and coming artists that you would like to write for? I know you mentioned her a little bit earlier.
I like her.
Coco Jones is hot right now.
Who's that?
Coco Jones.
Coco Jones, she's hot right now. We got Tim's.
I like her. She's one of my favorites that's out now. There's a bunch of talented ones though.
This one, she's stepping on other lanes. She was with them, but she got this new video, and I was like, "You seeing the new side, Janelle Monáe?"
Okay.
Oh yeah, Janelle Monáe.
Yeah, I always loved her music, but she got something out. I was like, it kind of looked like different. If you don't understand,
she had a vocal banger she did at one of the awards shows, and I didn't know that she could sing. It was almost like a Broadway tune that she did, and she sang it strong. Yeah, so I was pretty surprised that she could deliver a vocal like that. The crowd loved it; they went crazy. She's a strong artist.
Absolutely, but if you know, well, watch this. When you see that video, you're gonna be like, "That's different for her."
Of course, Beyonce. Everybody wants to work with Beyonce. It would be an honor to work with her.
Sure, okay, sure.
But we could stand on here dropping names all day.
Right. Would you ever do like a writing? This is one of my last questions. Would you ever host like some type of writing camp for new writers, up and coming writers? To kind of hone in on their skills or something like that? Was it something that you would?
I always check out writers. If you have somebody you want me to check out, just send me a text or a email, and I'll check them out. And then we could evaluate what they're doing, and if it's something that I think I can help them with. Some writers, it's like they already got it. You know what I mean? They just need to keep doing it. And other ones, you can give them a couple pointers if they're open-minded. Obviously, it's better if the artists are open-minded because we can all learn, from the next person that we get with. You know what I mean? So somebody who wants to break in the music industry now with writing, how would they do that? What would be your suggestions for them to kind of? Well, they got to be on all the social media stuff. They got to make quality music that has strong hooks. They got to have music that grooves. Always helps if there's a groove to it. Music today is pretty sparse. They dumbed down the music almost to like a bass drum and a chord. It's like, wow, can y'all put a little more arrangement there? But anyway, I'm not saying music needs to be complicated. We still want to deliver simple music. But the foundation, if you listen to the Beatles, you know, the hooks were simple. And that's why they've outsold every other group in the history of music. Same thing with Motown, you know, simple stories. Smokey Robinson, you know, what he said, I did you wrong, my heart went out to play, but in the game I lost you, what a price to pay, and now I'm crying. So boom, you know what I mean? Right. The man was a master writer. But think about all the steps he went through just to deliver that little message, but it was so well thought out. It comes out easy, but it wasn't easy to create it. Well, maybe it was for him. Smokey's another master. We got to meet him recently. He's incredible. He's 83. He looks like he's about 50.
Yeah, he looks great.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yep.
So my question now becomes, most of the people that you mentioned in high regards, they all have been mentored by other artists and great artists. And now we see that many artists aren't being mentored. I think that's one of the issues. So how do we get back to, you know, this artist was the backup singer to this artist? You know, things that I learned, Denise Williams said, oh yeah, I sang with the Earth, Wind and Fire. And the Emotions was the other group. And then from there you say, oh yeah, you know, Virginia Bell was the backup singer to Anita Baker. And then the backup singer for her was Karen White. And so it was like always a grooming process of someone great that they seen, they could emulate. And now we kept quality. Was Joe mentored or groomed by someone, and were you mentored and groomed?
I was fortunate to be groomed and mentored by Kool and the Gang. They didn't just say, okay, we're going to mentor you now. I just would hang around. They would allow me to hang around the studio. So when they were doing Ladies Night and Celebrate, I got to watch Deodato, the master, they call him the East Coast Quincy Jones. I got to watch the master producer work with these master writers, master musicians, and watch the creation of that classic record, those classic records. James Taylor was there, you know, everybody, my man on guitar, Charles Smith. It was an amazing experience. So yeah, I would say they mentored me, even though it wasn't an official mentorship where they said, okay, we're going to mentor you. It wasn't like that. It wasn't, you know what I mean? It wasn't structured. It was just like, you get to hang out and be a fly on the wall and just absorb everything you can. As a young person, it might have been 18, 20, whatever, 19. And they're making one of the most incredible, or a couple of the most incredible records ever made. So that changed my thinking and influenced me. Oh, I'm really gonna do this now. I like, oh, it's definitely happening. You know what I mean? Absolutely. My mom was saying, well, listen, when you gonna get a real job? You know what I mean? I said, don't worry, Mom, hang in there. It's gonna happen, you know. And that fortunately she lived to see some of my success and things turn around, you know.
Okay. This is my last question. What are you doing? Because you said that, you know, you would listen for, you know, if Jay sends you an artist or anyone sends you an artist that, you know, you can help out. But what about the rich community in Essex County, East Orange, Newark, Irvington? They have a rich history of musicians and musicianship. You know, what is your contribution, or what would you like to have?
Many are called, but few are chosen.
Oh, okay.
So dig this. I took a Greyhound to LA to find BabyFace because I knew that he was getting ready to be the next force in the music industry. I went to him. If the mountain don't come to Muhammad will go to the mountain, right?
Go to the mountain. All right.
I spent like $99 for a round trip bus ticket to LA, washed up in the men's room, did whatever I have to do because there was no showers. Yeah. What are you going to do? So you rough it out, you tough it out. And to me, that's the drive that's missing from today's generation. They got more opportunities and more technology, but they might be missing that other element of, I'm gonna make this happen. We used to wait in the parking lot for L.A. Reid to come out and just hit him with a cassette tape. I mean, I wait for, I remember being on the street corner, looking at Arista Records. I seen two black dudes talking on the corner. I said, hey, any of y'all know Ed Eckstein? Dude said to me, I am Ed Eckstein. I said, what? Out of a city of 8 million people, I picked Ed Eckstein right off the corner.
Wow.
He said, listen, don't meet with me here. I'm going 2 weeks. I'm going to be at a new place called Polygram Wing. And that's when he signed Tony, Brian McKnight, Vanessa Williams, et cetera, right? So I said, I'll come meet with you there. And then we develop a relationship from there. But my point is, you got to seek it out. It ain't coming to you. If I'd have sat in New Jersey in my little studio or in the basement, they're not coming to me. So if these artists want to find persons like myself, they need to reach out, show the energy, show the initiative, and be proactive. And then people like myself will respond and say, well, I can do this, I can do that, I can do that. You know what I mean? But when I hear about young artists or see somebody who's doing something phenomenal, that gets me psyched. Then I'm motivated. You know what I mean? So talent is the motivation. You know, see something unique and different, you know. But they have to reach out as well. It's not going to happen on its own.
Okay. All right. And since you're saying reach out, that's a nice little segue into how can they reach out to you? Where can we find you on social media to get in touch with you, to see what's going on, to see who you're working with?
Instagram, official Joshua Paul Thompson on Instagram, official.
Gotta get it right now.
Official.
If it ain't official, it ain't real.
It ain't you. Hey, I've already followed you. Well, thank you. So we just want to thank you so much for coming on KROSS BARZ. Any last words you want to say before we get off of here?
I love what y'all are doing, helping out, keeping new music and old music. You're the crossroads between the new and the old. So what y'all doing is really important.
You got it.
You need to continue this. We need these historians and purveyors and propellers. You're propelling things forward. Without y'all, we can't do it. So shout out to y'all, and God bless. Continue what you're doing. Please continue to help the community. And we can do whatever we want. There's no limits on art and creativity.
All right.
Love it. Like you said it. Bars. That made me happy. So shout out to you, Mr. Joshua Paul Thompson. Thank you so much for blessing our show, you know, just with your wisdom, with your words, with your, you know, what you're giving back to the culture. We appreciate it. And he said it here, right here on KROSS BARZ. That's what we do. We're bridging the gap. A lot of this stuff people don't know. We might not be 1 million followers, but we coming for y'all right now. So I'm Jay Tanae. That's right. Right. I'm Jay Tanae, and I'm signing off for KROSS BARZ. It's KROSS BARZ. You can find us on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Spotify, Facebook. We got it all. We're going to see y'all again coming soon. Again, y'all take it easy. Peace.